it, you figure out like it's an instrument, and it's really interesting. But I feel like that's like things with a lot. You delve into any kind of craft, you realize that there's like whole worlds to explore down there. But
Disney movie, like I had to like start like, oh wait, maybe this could be more, befitting for a jingle and not a hip hop track that I imagined it being. When I first got in, it was a crew related thing. When I first started rapping, I was in a crew. When I started becoming a breakdancer, I was in a crew. When I did graph art, I was in a graph crew.
Yeah.
Man, I hope this podcast does good today, man. It's gonna be very good.
Too, man. Oh man, look at Scooby. It's always sleeping, man.
Man, he's always sleeping. Like, wake butt up. What's up, you happy little camper?
Man, what's going on with you, baby?
What's good, man? My neck is kind of hurt, bro, and I couldn't find a boat last night.
Oh, really? Huh.
Well, have you ever tried cherry blossom pillows?
Have you ever lost your remote on the couch?
Do you ever just need a spot to put your book in?
Do you ever just need a place to rest your head?
So if you need a pillow with a special pocket, Cherry Blossom Design has the right thing for you. Head on down to their Etsy store and use code BRIDGETHEGAP to get $5 off an order of 2 or more.
All right, you guys, welcome to another great episode of Bridging the Gap with Bill, Shy, Scooby, and Mac, with our very special guest, MC in the house, Thug Shells, straight out of Alberta, Canada, baby. Indeed, we're going to represent, we're going to talk a little hip-hop and this and that and the other. But before we get into all that, we're going to let Scooby do his whole social deal.
First off, shout out our sponsor, Little Caesars, for this podcast. Don't actually say that.
No, man. You joking like that. We ain't about to lose no money over here.
But social medias, at BridgeTheGap77, at OhSoShy, at ScoobyKid252, at Bill_Perry, at ChefMac1523. Make sure y'all get tuned in, tapped in, and Thug Shells, I'll let you tell us people your social medias.
I'm just Thug Shells. Thug like a thug and shells like the seashells everywhere. Thug Shells. Mm-hmm.
Well, like we do every week, how's everybody doing? For us in particular, it's been a while since we've been in the same room together. Right? So
Definitely.
I'll start with you and go around.
Yeah, I've been pretty good, chilling. Like I said on the last podcast, figuring out this whole music thing. I just got a bunch of new equipment, so it's been a process, but it's been a fun process. Overall, good. So, what about you, Thug Shells?
I've been good. Been super busy. I gotta finishing music and releasing tracks professionally takes so much longer than people realize, because you make the track, writing it is one thing, but then recording. So I finally finished up. I think it's my first single, really, because I have an album out, but my first me single. So it's gonna be out soon. And yesterday I shot the music video, which was really fun. So just getting everything in order for that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, everything's going great. I've been working on my new business. Hope to have posters in the next couple of weeks. So I've been shooting a lot of new pictures, and they're coming out really nice. And so more to come on that.
I've been doing well myself. I've been experimenting with not triple X, but double X film. I don't, and that's been really interesting. They've been kind of knowing about this, and
I think I got that maybe 5 seconds after you.
It's a new acting thing that I'm getting into and everything. It's not triple X, double X. You know what I'm saying? But I'm doing well other than that.
Since this is my brother, I have to go la 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 la.
Yeah, of course. That's cool though. No, the film stuff is really cool. Super cool.
That's cool. Yeah.
Okay, let me correct something right quick. I was joking. Before we start getting on the support bandwagon. Yeah, when you get to know me, you gotta really take a lot of stuff when I say with a grain of salt.
So not into film. Got it.
I will one day tell you about a story where I did get an offer to actually add some music to a porno movie, but I chose not to. I didn't
because of your high morals.
That's all that was. All right.
Hey, so I'm kind of curious, Doug, how did you start rapping? Being from Canada, was Drake?
Hey, man!
My bad. I can do that because he's my brother.
Yeah, totally. Sibling rivalry.
Like a Three Stooges image when I saw that. Man, I'm like Mo and Curly right there.
been doing good. I just got back from North Carolina. It's a 12-hour drive. But, you know, other than getting interrupted by you, my week's been pretty good. So now you can say what you're going to say.
Yeah, what are your influences though? Like, why you start rapping?
Well, actually, so like growing up, I listened to a lot. I didn't have a lot of friends, and I listened to a lot of Eminem, typical white girl listens to a white girl rapper, but it was just me and his posters and all my pet lizards. And then I didn't touch hip hop again for a long time, like probably about a decade or so. And I went to a music festival up in Canada. It's on the West Coast. It's called Bass Coast. And there's a group there. They're called the Freestyle Focus Group. And they're just a group of guys. They're out from Vancouver, but they have a mobile studio set up. And they encourage people to try freestyling. So they do it in their city, but they also bring their kind of mobile music studio to festivals. And they roll around all weekend encouraging people to get on the microphone. And all weekend I saw that and I was like, oh, that looks really cool. I really want to try it. And I was with some friends and they're like, you should go. And I went on there and I tried rapping just on a microphone at a festival for the first time. And I was horrible. I was really, really bad, but it felt so good. And then slowly just over the next like couple months or whatever, all my friends were super supportive of me. When I got back to my city, the first gig I ever had was a freestyle rap battle, and just slowly I got better, I guess. I think everybody in my city kind of wanted. I was like, I'm going to be a rapper, and everyone's like, yes, you are. And then eventually you have enough support and you practice enough, you become that. So yeah, that's kind of how it happened.
So how did you get your rap name?
Well, my name's Michelle, and it was a joke because no one actually thought I was going to be a rapper. And I wrote a rap song, and I'm like, yo, guys, what's my rap name? Because my name's Michelle. They're like, Thug Shells. And then it just stuck, and I became a rapper. So it's just a play on my regular name.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you know, I can appreciate the fact that you said you came up in the battle style, you know what I'm saying, with the rapping and the freestyle battles, because like real lyricists, at least in my opinion, I think they should be grounded in that and rooted in some sort of form of competition, friendly competition with each other, you know, to better yourself, to better your craft, to challenge you to write better raps and stuff.
Well, it's really fascinating because though my first gig, yeah, was a freestyle battle rap, I came up in like the opposite world of that. So battling is so interesting. I've been watching very recently, actually, I've gotten really into battle rapping. I've been not doing it because no one's doing anything right now, but just watching it, going back and watching all these battles, like listening to like the old school lyricists, especially too, because the way that they weave things together is insanely impressive. But I actually came up very far away from anyone doing any kind of rap thing. Music festivals is where I started. So I was kind of mainly the only rapper. And then it was only like halfway through my career that I really like reintegrated with the hip hop scene because I started rapping over electronic music, like break beats, but like kind of the newer age break beats, as well as like just anything that was playing. All right. Whoever would give me a microphone, I'd want to be on their set emceeing. And then it was only after the math that I became interwoven with what is more known as not typical hip hop, but I guess more fundamental hip hop and the kind of things that when people think hip hop, they imagine. But yeah, I came up in like the electronic scene, and it was only afterwards that I came back to more traditional means.
No doubt. You know, that's actually a good place to take it, you know, with hip hop and everything. You know, it's an encompassing culture. Like, are you also into like, you know, B-boys and B-girls, you know, the break dances and grab park?
It's so cool. Oh gosh, yeah. I'm definitely not like a very good break dancer. Nor am I very good at graffiti, but all the elements of hip hop are so cool. Like I've tried beatboxing before. I've been practicing scratching for the last couple of months. I started DJing at the start of quarantine, so I've been DJing a ton, but I started practicing scratching a while back, and you know, nothing fancy, but I got my basics down.
Hey, no, I applaud you.
Yeah.
That's the only element of hip hop that I can't do. I've
Yeah.
done grab park, B-boy, rap, all of the beatboxing.
Yeah.
DJing is the one thing I've never been able to do, man.
And scratching has lived for like 30
Oh,
years.
it's so cool.
Yeah,
Once you start it, it's really fun. You realize that like there's different notes to it and everything. Because before, when you just hear it, right, you just hear like, you know, scratching. But then once you actually start doing it, you figure out like it's an instrument, and it's really interesting. But I feel like that's like things with a lot. You delve into any kind of craft, you realize that there's like whole worlds to explore down there. But scratching's a lot of fun. Yeah.
But
Oh yeah, like that's dope. You know what I'm saying? It's like especially like being a rapper, you know, to hear that you're doing those types of things, because I'm around so many new cats that are like, they don't really care about that. And that's, you know, it's cool not to care about it, and it's cool to care about it. So it's nice to hear.
The interesting thing is for so long, I didn't care about it. So I've been a rapper for about like probably like going on 3.5 years. And so the whole first year I was just trying to rap, right? And then second year is like, okay, well, I got this rap thing down. And then like the decks were always around, but I was like, I don't care. Like I'll always have a DJ. And then something just changed one day. I was like, wait a minute, like I wanna figure out how to do this. And so I picked myself up a pair of decks, and like the ability to be able to not rely on any other person for control of your whole performance. Like it's like I have people that I let DJ for me, and I do enjoy emceeing sets and stuff, but it's just changed my world being able to do all of it, because now like I don't need a DJ because I'm the DJ too. But before, I would have never thought that I would learn this. Like before, I was like, no, I'm just a rapper. And then just something clicked one day. So sometimes I think people just realize, like, once you I've definitely not mastered rapping, but once you get good enough at something that you don't have to be stressed every time you want to perform it well, then it's like, okay, well, I can probably add this into it, kind of. And then you start focusing on getting that thing better. And then you slowly kind of get better at a little bit of everything. But learning to DJ is really, really helped with everything, because you start to feel the music more and understand it better, and then you can be really in control of what you're doing at a show.
Do you make your own production as well, or do you outsource for that?
No. I have a producer. I have a producer. He's awesome. But I've dabbled in it, but you need to be doing that stuff. Just there's no way that I could. Oh, sorry, my dog came in here. Hi, Milo. Yeah, but there's no way that my production quality, unless I was giving this much time as I was giving to rapping and stuff, to like learning how to produce better, because sometimes I'll delve into it for a couple days, but then you stop for a couple days and you forget all of the how to use the program. There's just at this point in my life right now, that would be sweet to make my own producing. I have a producer that would just do such a better job than I ever could right now, so that one's on pause for now.
Yeah, I feel the same way, because it's like production and just like, you know, it's one thing to write lyrics, but it's a whole another thing to like make the music behind it. It's
to make it well and then master it and mix it. It's insane what goes into like a song, right? Like you write the lyrics and you're like, oh, this is fine. But then there's like, and then you want to start making videos, you want to start promoting it, you got to master, mix it, create it. It's just like, it's infinite. People don't realize how much work just goes into releasing just one really good thing. Because once it's out there forever. So that's why it's important to, you know, get stuff done, but also take the time to like make sure it's done well. So I used to be really excited to get stuff out, and then it's really nice. My producer that works with me, he is really good at like making sure that I just like slow down for a second, because I used to be just so eager. I'd be like, oh, but I wrote it. But like I have an EP coming out in September that like it's been basically done like months ago, and I was like so eager to put it out months ago. And then now it's like, well, actually this doesn't match the story I want to tell of like my online artistry. Like I want to put out a few of these things before I put that out, just because like chronologically that's the part of myself that I don't want to present yet, almost. And it's like, it's an interesting journey, because you realize like once it's out, it's out.
Yeah, it's kind of like, for me, it's a very humbling feeling, because it's like, you know, I used to be kind of like, oh, should I put this out? Is it hard enough? But it's like, when you put things out, you know, it's kind of like, it's freeing almost, you know what I'm saying?
Well, it's like, it's your baby. You're like, be free. And then your baby goes to school. You're like, goodbye. And you watch it grow in the world. And you're like, oh, okay. Yeah, it's definitely humbling. It's a lot of work, but a lot of reward.
Yeah. Well, I noticed when excuse me, I been stuff in my face that I didn't know
that's
was
cool.
going to
That's cool.
Like, why is this moment it comes to me now? I was like,
yeah.
You know, when I first started seeing your stuff, you know, I noticed that you freestyle, and like, so, you know, I'm hearing you talking about song development and stuff. When you're writing songs for an album, are you looking at it as a collection of songs, or as a concept, as a complete thought, as it were, artistically?
So this project that I have coming out, it started out as almost a common theme without a bigger picture, but then the picture kind of painted itself, I guess. Like my first album that I made was completely random. Like it was like, I was like, I'm a rapper. I have a bunch of lyrics from a summer's worth of partying. What do I do with this? And then I got really lucky. So my first album, because it was right when I started out, I'd probably been rapping for like less than a year, like since I picked up my first ever. And I had a Kickstarter going, and one of my favorite producers that lived in Spain, he offered me to come visit there and he'd make my album. And so with that album, it was like, okay, let's piece together party fun lyrics and just make a thing. So like that first one had nothing, but now like life's a lot different now. So like my EP that I have out in the summer, it's more emotion versus like a concept album, but it's cool because I've been listening to stuff like some of like Kendrick's new stuff, and it's like so powerfully, insanely moving when there's a whole overlying like theme to the whole thing and it paints its own narrative. And that's like, I definitely one day it would be amazing to make a concept album. This next one that I have is more of like an emotional going through life album with like almost a because it took so long to actually finish this. It's like paints the pace of my life, but then it like resolutes itself too. And that's the cool thing about not hurrying a project is you continue working on things and you realize that there's certain things you have that you can add to that project to make it that complete body of work. But in the future, it'd be sick to make a concept album. But right now, like I'm so bad at focusing and getting one thing done. I get excited. I want to start like 18 different concept albums, and then none of them get done.
Do that, man.
Yeah.
I have like so many albums on the shelf right now that I want to like do this and that and the other and everything. My sister's actually working on the album. It's kind of like similar language, like Shy. You was going to be like going to Missouri, but you're not going to do that now.
Well, you know, with the pandemic happening, and we just had to kind of slow things up a little bit with that. And I still have the choice to go there, and it depends on how everything goes here because we're a hot spot right now in Mississippi.
Yeah, man, we're like lepers over here. People from this state, they're not let travel to other states. We can't like go to New York and a few other states.
Yeah. Well, apparently over here, like my city's pretty good, but apparently like even like interprovincially, like people aren't allowed to travel. Like I don't know if it's as enforced as certain places. But like people have like I've known friends who have moved and like they get stopped and they're like you have to have like a reason you're going somewhere and it has to be a good one kind of thing.
Yeah, our governor kind of dropped the ball on certain things and was pretty relaxed in the beginning, but now he's kind of putting more mandates in play that are kind of putting the protocol back in play. To show you how serious it is, our mayor has COVID-19.
Oh, fuck.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, it's nutty that we've all lived through like the world shutting down to a pandemic. Like it doesn't feel real, you know? Like it is the reality, but it's very strange. Very strange indeed.
I mean, we've been talking about a lot about music. How's that like, as far as that goes, how has the pandemic affected your life?
Well, so I try to be a little bit I guess what's the word, tamer with my positivity towards it. But for me personally, it's just been like the artist renaissance that I've always needed. It's been like the redirect of attention and energy that I wasn't letting myself give to my music, because now I give all of myself to music and I don't understand how I ever had time for anything else. But before this, I was always like saying yes to, every like side job or every this or every that. And like not for money, just because I'm really bad at saying no to stuff. It's like, oh yeah, sure, I'll go renovate that house this week. Like just like little things like that just had nothing to do with what I was doing. And so this whole pandemic thing, it's just made me realize like, oh, I need to be working on music all the time. Like I started live streaming the rap stuff. On Twitch and stuff, and it's been really cool because off of Twitch, off Amazon, you make money. So I'm making money off streaming now too, and like not a crazy amount, but it's also just the beginning, and it's like I don't really have a lot of expenses, so it's cool because now that I've refocused everything towards making music, I'm making enough to live off of just music, and I didn't have the nothing made me do that before because I was like, I'll get time for music, but you have to make that time. So I guess the best thing that the quarantine's done for me is shown me how much time you have to choose to make if you want to pursue music professionally.
And like you say, choosing different avenues, because I mean, we started live streaming. It wasn't something I considered before. It wasn't something I could really make a living at doing. I mean, hey, Thug Chills, for all intents and purposes, I mean, look at us. This relationship now exists because I saw you on live streaming. Totally.
Yeah. And that's the other really cool thing too, is like I've been able to meet and engage with people from so many different facets of the world. And it's like you gotta, conquer your borough and then you conquer the world. But you can't get to know the rest of the world if you don't. And that's another huge thing that this has done for everybody, because like now I have friends and fans in Australia and New York and all these different places that one day when the world goes back to normal, suddenly people kind of all over, which I don't know if we hadn't been bottlenecked into the internet, if I personally would have gone that gung-ho at creating an online presence for myself in that sense. So it's sick because now you can just like, oh, well, now I can go visit my friends in New York that I wouldn't have had before this.
Word.
I
Yeah.
know that you said conquer your world and conquer the world. Have you seen the Get Down?
So good. So
Yeah.
good. I binge watched it in like yeah. It's a
Yeah,
good
I've like
show.
binge watched that. It's I know
Uh,
but
Yeah, I've heard of it though. Yeah,
man, it's
yeah.
so
it's
good.
really good. Yeah.
Oh
It's
man.
like the perfect mix of culture and like history, but then like plot line that you care about, and then like dank music, and you're like, oh, this is just good. It was
Yeah,
very good. Yeah.
it's like it's awesome to see like the like people make hip hop movies and how hip hop is now like such a part of culture. Going back to then, people didn't even think it was gonna last. Like I'm sure a lot of other musics were, and I don't know, it's really awesome to see because like I get to
I
grow
don't
up in
think
that.
that we really thought that in the Black community. It was,
No, yeah, we felt like it would last, but was wondering was it going to be really as trendy and mainstream, later because it was a culture because it wasn't just the music. That's why I was saying earlier about to her about the b-boy and the graph art because there was all these different facets of it, and like she was saying, like like today you can kind of like be an encompassing artist as a hip hop artist. You could be your own DJ, the beat maker, and all this. But in my time, if you didn't have a DJ, you wasn't a real rap crew. If you didn't have a beatboxer, you wasn't a real rap crew.
And not just that, but rappers are the rock stars of today. But back then, their music was looked down upon. Even the vice president's wife at that time spent a lot of money buying rap CDs and had some kind of bulldozer run over them.
Had to make a visual of it, like destroying rap music.
So that took rap to a whole nother level. It's like they thought that they were destroying it, but actually they made it more mainstream.
And and now as far as the effect, I mean nobody could predict how it would be, you know what I'm saying? But like culturally, the way hip hop is taken in now, I think we've already touched on this before, where it's all these different things. Like okay, up there in is it as far as like hip hop up there as a culture. Is it all like subsets? Is it like the rappers over here, the DJs over there?
No,
or are you guys all unified?
Yeah, everyone gets along. Yeah, everyone's pretty much coming. Although it's like, well, in my city, I can only, I guess, really speak for my city personally, but everyone gets along. We have a really, really good sense of community in our city, and it's been really nice because it's not too, like, no one's really too jaded or too cliquey in my city. But I've also talked to people that I know that are deep in the music industry that have very much so the opposite to say. But they're like Edmonton's, it's whatever for its style. Like it's a pretty big city, but I have friends in like Toronto and stuff like that, the bigger cities, and it's quite the opposite. It is very kind of segregated, like everyone. There's like a lot of clickiness to it and stuff. But in my city here, it's like, it's really nice. We have a few of like kind of the known hip hop DJs. And so I host before this happened, I hosted a freestyle rap night bi-weekly. And it was just super sweet because I'd have a different DJ come every week and a different artist like feature. And it got to be really awesome because everyone just started to continue building that community, that aspect. And I really like how you said that because if you didn't have like a DJ, then you weren't part of your crew. When I host my rap nights, I don't want anywhere near the DJ decks. I don't want to be near that because you can't pay attention. You can't find your flow. Like it's different when I'm performing a set of mine and stuff like that because it's like it's my songs and I know what I'm doing. But like if you want to rock the party like that, like having a crew, the crew aspect of it, the community aspect of it, it's just so much better because like who wants to do it alone? Like I've learned how to do it alone so that I can if I want to. But it's just things are just better with a crew. They're just funner, which is why you do it.
Everything I got into in hip hop when I first got in, it was a crew related thing. When I first started rapping, I was in a crew. When I started becoming a breakdancer, I was in a crew. When I did graph art, I was in a graph crew. Back under the same umbrella. But like, when I say I'm hip hop, I'm not just only speaking of rap. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, like when I represent hip hop, I represent for everybody in it. You know what I'm saying? The b-boys, the graph artists, everybody, the DJs, it ain't separate in my mind when I say hip hop.
No, I agree. There's so much awesomeness. I keep wanting to say dope. There's so much dopeness in hip hop and everything that it represents. It's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. And I'm really lucky to be able to use one of the forms of it to express myself. And for that, I pay a lot of respect. And for that, I'm super thankful.
Well, you know, I don't know the difference between the rap style, because I have to admit I haven't kept up in many years. I've just been doing, you know, other things in my
Oh, yeah.
But the rap scene here, compared to, say, Canada to Hong Kong, where you were, you know, and he did a lot of things with, you know, several rappers out there. And what are some of the differences that you've noticed, or since we're such a global world and society, is there really no difference these days?
Well, I think every single person brings their own difference in a way, because there's people that have similar styles, but within each city, within each crew, within each country, there's just so many different kinds of hip hop within that in itself. So you can find almost more similarities for rappers from across the world than rappers from across their own pond. So it's kind of hard to say, because I feel like just there's so many different styles and different kinds of raps everywhere nowadays, because people are building upon things that they listened to and liked, and then there's some people coming out with some completely original stuff, which is really cool. And then there's just like everything in between there. So I can't really speak for like overseas. Like I bet the rap in Hong Kong is insane. I've been researching a lot. So I speak Russian fluently. Like my family's Russian. And so I've been.
Come on, you can't just say that without saying it.
Я могу говорить по-русски, но я смотрела эти документари из России, and I've been watching a lot of battle rap documentaries in Russia, or like in Russian. So I watched this one documentary a little while ago, and it was all about the history of rap music in Russia, because I was like, I don't know anything about that. And so it's really cool, because like within each country, there's probably so much of a difference. Like in Russia, they got it like after the States did, right? And it was like, you can't do this. Like it was exactly what happened there, where the government was like, no, and that just made it cooler. That just made people want to do it more.
That is very.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, that is very interesting. All I was going to say was, you know, I noticed in Hong Kong, you know, especially they were heavily influenced by American hip hop.
I think most of the world was.
Yeah. So they still had their, I guess, their own feel, but it had lot of.
It was actually, you know, it was like, it was New York grime with Mandarin accents.
Cool.
You know what I'm saying?
That sounds pretty. I like it.
Yeah. You know, but they're speaking the Mandarin and Cantonese with it, but their energy was more akin to that at the time and stuff. You know, I can't speak upon, you know, how that vibe is now.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, different energy. Like, okay, for example, how do you feel about Drake?
He's a good guy. I don't listen to Drake much.
I mean, you don't have to feel like you have to like tiptoe around that. It ain't like we're a bunch
No,
of
I don't know his music well enough to really.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, you know, it's like, yeah, he's good for the clubs. I don't bump.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
like I wouldn't go out of my way to ever put on his music, but like he's killing it out there for what he's doing.
Of course. I mean, there's no denying that at all. No doubt. I think his beard is what's killing him, but anyway.
Yeah.
What about like Tory Lanez, or you know, what are your influences as far as hip hop goes besides?
Well, see, the thing is like I grew up listening to a lot of Eminem, and it's been just this last little while that I've gone back and I'm trying to do kind of almost like all my like rap research, right? Because there's so much you have to learn, so much to build upon. So like Big Daddy Kane, and I've been going back and like just listening, just like I didn't even listen to Tupac or anything when I was younger. So just going back, listening to Biggie, just all of the old school rappers that influenced everything that rap builds upon now is kind of
the women, you know.
I was just thinking here. I'm like, yo, you see it's all these men. What about Queen Latifah, MC Light? Come on, girl.
Actually, yeah. No, I was going.
Y'all keep talking all this.
There's a lot of women.
Give me all this hip hop shit. Y'all ain't talking right.
You would be very impressed with. So yeah.
No, yeah.
Y'all talking some baby stuff.
Yeah.
Let me tell you some real.
Yeah. And like Lauryn Hill.
Yeah, Lauryn Hill.
Yeah. No, I've been going back and reading or listening to all those too. Sorry. I just finished reading a book yesterday that was all about those guys. So those guys are fresh in my brain right now.
Text me. I will help you, girl. You ain't got to read no book.
Oh, but I like reading books. Yeah.
Song with at least 3 famous rappers, of course, Queen Latifah, and Oh, I can't remember the other two.
Lucy Light.
Moni Love.
Moni Love, yeah.
She was from London.
The song is
There
called Ladies First. So
Mhm.
check that out. And that was a really famous one back in the day. That was
Queen Latifah, UNITY. Come on. Missy Elliott. Come on now.
Oh, Missy Elliott's a G. Hey, she's cool too.
I'm gonna have to teach you something, Raquel. Come on.
Missy Elliott, yeah.
I'm sitting here
Yeah,
at the
there
store like, oh, come on, y'all. We got to mention some people. Come on, come tell me now. Now, I have to throw Drake out there. Just get it started. You know what I'm saying?
You see how he is.
I'm trying to
I'm
remember.
crazy. Don't worry about me.
There's this one artist, and I can't remember her name, but I listened to all her work a little while ago, and she was so good. I'm gonna probably by the end of this I'll remember her name, but she was yeah, it's gonna take me a second. We can move on to the next topic, but I remember her albums were insane. Yeah.
Hey, well, let me ask you this: like, you know, when you're creating music yourself, are is it do your influences make the impression upon you to want to create, or you just
Oh no. I just do what I yeah. One second, I'm just gonna plug my laptop in.
That's all good.
Yeah, I feel like I get most of my music done. Like sometimes I'll just like when I'm in a certain mood, you can just pump out a song like that. And sometimes you'll want to work on a song and you'll sit down to write and it doesn't work. But when you're in a certain kind of something, the song just kind of writes itself.
Right.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Like,
all the best songs happen like that.
Exactly. You know, you have to go inward and everything, no matter what the mood is or how you're feeling or so on and so forth. It's good to have those influences to make impressions upon you to kind of better your craft, to kind of use them as a bar. But, it's better to go inward, indeed.
I found like, because I came up freestyling too. That's how I first started rapping. Like Bill too, kind of, yeah. And so, like, with my writing, it's almost like a freestyle, but it's just a little bit more thought out, And I haven't heard any of your music that you released as far as like that you.
Oh, that's okay. Anything out is long ago. Yeah, everything that's going to come out soon. It was Rhapsody. Rhapsody was the name of the artist that I couldn't think. Yeah, her stuff was crazy.
I was thinking about maybe putting you on the spot and maybe having you in school freestyle a little bit here.
Sure.
I don't know if you was up for it.
Totes. Yeah.
See, I wish you would have had an instrumental or something set. You know what I'm saying?
Where's our beatboxer in the house, huh?
I'm just going to hear that though. It probably sound like Kitty Pat. Well, I don't know. She may not be able to hear it. I tell you what, no, we're just going to go old school. Acapella, no beat. Acapella, no beat. Let's do it, baby. On the schoolyard, you know what I'm saying, type of thing. Y'all don't know about that, you know what I'm saying? We know about that. On the schoolyard, no beat. What?
Exactly.
You want to start it off? All right, I'll start it off. I'm going to start off with something crazy. What's up, my man? If you know what I mean, I like to eat chickens and collard greens. What the hell are you doing in the street, dancing to them old ass stale beats? Check 1, 2. Am I getting through to you? Are you threatened by me? Well, here you go, boom. Do not fear what you do not understand. Do not judge unless you really know me, man. Hey, go with it. Big step. All right, go for it. What up?
Said, unless you really know me, we eating Little Caesars. Abigail said, what up? She the preacher. Hey, this the Opus cup. I'm drinking on the water, trying to get so hydrated that I can't get the daughter of the son of one, the son of man, the son of none. I'm just trying to find my flow. I'll be unknown. Oh, go, my old soul. I try to take it slow, but the mode don't go like, ooh, that's that.
Oh, there it is now. Okay.
Solid. Well, guess I'll get. Okay. Well, guess I'll pick it back up. Yeah, that's okay. I was just a little bit laggy there for a sec. Okay, well, then I'll kick it back up. How are you guys doing right here? We're going to deconstruct. You got a chicken on the table. Her name is Abigail. Right now we hanging out. Yeah, the friendship setting sail. So what's up, guys? I'm going to be the rapper from Canada. I lend a hand. I had to do it. The stamina is pretty fast, and my dog walked through the door. But that's okay. Right now we're talking. Now we're going to explore about different facets of hip-hop, the males and the females. Well, I know right now we're weaving. We upscale, and you are from Mississippi. We talking right now. Doug Shells is using all her lippies. Yeah, her lippy, she don't lisp. No, we got it super crisp. You got pizzas exactly, and I was on a guest list. So I'm really thankful that you had me on your podcast. We got the bars on blast. Right now we hood in class.
Oh, mic drop.
I like your voice, and I like your tone and the way, the whole flow goes. I like your whole phrasing and pronunciation. It's very nice.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I've been working on enunciating a lot because I've been spending so much time listening to myself. So it's cool. By doing that, you get your own instant feedback so.
Yeah, that was nice.
Thanks.
All right,
You guys
Dutch
did a great
Girls,
job too.
will you marry me?
I'm married to the game, unfortunately.
Oh,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
married to the game.
Yeah. We're going strong.
Hats off to the game, baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like as
Oh,
far
that
as
was fun.
the single coming out, what was the video about that you did? If you can see it, I don't want to.
Yeah, so the song is Shell Yeah, it's called. And it's really funny because my name is Thug Shells, and so it just became because every time I play a show, I go, "Are you guys having fun?" And everyone goes, "Yeah," and I go, "Can I get a shell yeah?" And then the whole audience always just goes, "Shell yeah," and it just it's just doing my thing. It's so great. So the first single is Shell Yeah. So what we did is we had a big pool party, because my whole theme is a lot of nautical, but we filled up a big pool and a smaller pool, and basically it was just a bunch of my friends that are babes in a pool party, but there's a small overlying plot of there's pirates, and there's the shell fruit people, and then all of the shell fruit people are in the big pool, and then the pirates want to take the big pool off, so the pirates get in there and they get all the shell people out of there, and then the shell people are like, well, whatever, there's a little pool, we're just gonna hang out in here. So they go have a good time in the smaller pool, and then the people who took the big pool are like, oh, they're having fun and we're not. So then they go say sorry, and then everyone has a pool party because everyone should just figure out how to get along, and everyone eats watermelon, and it's just life is good again because people should stop bickering over stupid things and just party with fruit. So that's the plot of the music video.
It's good to hear you having a concept behind it. You know what I'm saying?
It's good, yeah, because I was like, we need to shoot a video. I'm like, we need a concept, or else it's just babes in a pool. And I'm all for wholesome debauchery, but your wholesome debauchery has to have at least a slight plot line. Yeah. But the costumes were so good. It was awesome. Every time I make a music video, I take the contents of my house, put it in suitcases, take it to the location, and just hope and pray all my friends can help make it dope. And yeah, yesterday was super awesome. The set came together, the costumes came together.
I've seen a lot of your imagery, man. You have this kind of psychedelic and unicorns and all kind of stuff going on.
Yeah, it's almost like cartoon existence. And purple and lilac are just my favorite colors. So everything is almost just a happy aesthetic, but cartoony and bubbly. And just the world is so much grimy darkness in it that if I can help add ridiculous silliness in every way I can, then I will. in every possible. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and it's good because it's just with the songs too, it's I just have so many positive messages to spread, but I've also matured as not only as an artist but as a person, and I just realized how much of a balance the world is. So I'm really excited for the projects that are going to be coming out in the future because they have all that positivity but interwoven with a bit of actuality as well, which is I think a lot more relatable. So
yeah, so it doesn't sound corny.
Yeah, and it's a really fine balance. It's an art form not sounding corny, right? Because you want to spread all the good things, but you have to also be real about it. It's a fine art, like air horn.
Kind of song that has a positive twist to it. That's actually what I'm thinking about. Is is it gonna sound corny though? Because it has kind of a cliche kind of we're all let's all love each other, stick together kind of a song.
Yeah.
But then if I like you said, trying to add that realism where it's just but I'm coming from a real place. This is, but yes, be bubbly, but I don't want it to be, misconstrued as being corny.
Yeah, you can put that emotion into your lyrics and that feeling that will bring it across,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Someone who I feel does really well with that. I don't know if you've heard of Modson.
No. Oh, Watson?
Yeah.
No, Modson.
Modson. I'll check him out.
Real hippie rapper, you know what I'm saying? But he's real dope.
Yeah, Monsters.
Yeah.
He wears those contacts.
Yeah.
That's Hobson.
Oh yeah, Hobson. I'm thinking of Hobson.
My son, he a dude.
Oh man, all y'all days sound like it. Damn.
But he's it's kind of more of that hippie bubbly vibe. But he keeps that realness in there, and I feel
you gotta keep the realness, or else you just sound like a Hallmark card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's crazy in our society that like Hallmark cards aren't good though. 'Cause it's like you're supposed to tell yourself good things.
Yeah.
But it's like, but when you
Well,
tell
they're
yourself
good.
something good,
They're good sometimes.
yeah, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's wild.
Yeah.
That's something I've been trying to battle in my music. Is like, I have a project coming out called "I Believe I Can Fly," and it's like it's really real, but like the message behind it is like you can fly. You know what I'm saying? And it's like that balance of doing that. You know what I'm saying? And it's cool to hear other artists.
I think a big thing that makes it corny is when it becomes cliche, and it's really easy to just have a positive message without putting a lot of work into making it extra dope. So I think where you get that clichéness and that dislike of a Hallmark card is like you open a Hallmark card and it's like happy anniversary and you're like that's nice. But if you like open a card or a song and it was like so intricately, beautifully covered in metaphors and paintings, and you know what I mean? It's just like anyone can make a corny, happy song, but to make a song with like lots of deeper meanings and embezzle it with beautiful writing tactics and just all of that, that's what makes it step up. And then it's like, oh, they didn't just write a happy song, they put a lot of work crafting this beautiful thing. And then when the basis of it is that beautiful message, everything else just rings so much truer, because like some people might not even get that message the right time around, but they feel it because it's there. And then after they keep listening to it and it just like it impacts them more and more, because like we've been like the world's been making music for how long? Forever. Like
Forever.
so it's like it's very like
drums and started beating it.
yeah. And music is based on emotion. So it's just very, very likely if you make a cheesy song that it's been almost done exactly that way how many times. So I think that's the beauty that you have to make when you make those songs more genuine, more real, more complicated, is you add your take on them and they become something that you made versus just like this is a moral that we should preach.
Yeah, and like you said, the other way too, and avoiding formulas. Making sure it's not so formulaic, because that's also what makes it sound corny too. When you hear certain rise and falls in the music that you've heard and other things that, ensures that there'll be a pop hit kind of a thing.
Yeah, you don't ever want to sound the same.
No. Now, I will say I do extrapolate from the modern sounds, as it were, of the day. And I make sure that my music sounds relevant to now, as much as I can. I have some things that have throwback vibes to it and stuff, because I have a throwback myself. But, I also am paying attention to the sounds of today. And in certain songs when I feel like it's apropos, I'll put it in there. But I don't do it just to make sure that I fit in, because to me, that would be corny. To make sure that I put these, whoops and whistles here and there.
I feel like that has to come off as authentic. It has to come off as real. If you're just putting it in there, it's not real.
Right.
And you can't fool people. You have to give credit and respect to your audience and the people that are coming to see you and buying your music. And they might not know about music, but
you have to not be whack. You can't be whack. You need your friends around to tell you when you're being whack. You need your crew. Yeah.
You do need your friends to keep you humble. It's like, I mean, there's pros and cons to that, because sometimes you may want to go in a different direction. Like, when I was rapping back in the day and stuff, there would be certain type of rap styles I would start experimenting with that wasn't necessarily my, my forte. But like, for example, when the really speedy rap started coming in, like I don't really rap speedy, and all that. But I wrote a few rhymes where I was holding my own with the speedy stuff. You know what I'm saying? Let me kick it to you, man. This is a better day. I was going. Yeah. Then, like, it was my own crew that was like, man, B-Reed, you shouldn't be rapping like that, man. You a boom bap rapper. You don't need to be rapping. And I was feeling good about myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, so I don't know. Sometimes your friends can hinder you from growth.
Yeah. Well, there's both, because the thing is you have to have a crew that you listen to. But like, for example, like my producer, like he tells me when I'm whack, and 99.9% of the time he's right. And like, even looking back at things, because I get really like when I write a thing, I'm like, to people that I don't know well, I'm really like agreeable and nice. But to people that I know well and I'm comfortable with, like I can be a brat and not care, because I'm like, no, I'm not rewriting this. Like, nah. But every single time there's been like that slight feedback, I know it comes from a place of goodness. And I've thought back to times where I got the advice of like, this should be reworked. And now I've gone back and reworked those same parts that like the artist of me 6 months ago was like, no, this is good. And now 6 months later, I'm looking at these lyrics, like the Shell Yeah song that I have coming out. we recorded it, pieced it in, finished it, and I re-listened to it after I'd been practicing rapping a few more months because it was just like sat. We didn't get to finishing it, and I rewrote the whole thing. I rewrote almost all the lyrics. I respat it all because I was like, this, like, I'm just so much better now. There was like parts because like, yeah, and when you start off rapping too, like maybe not everyone, but like there's the whole like lyrical miracle, like everything just has to rhyme, and then you start doing it for a while, and you're like, this just rhymes for the sake of rhyming. This is dumb. So like that whole song, like the whole beginning of it, my producer originally, he was like, what does this mean? And I'm like, well, like, it just sounds, and like there's a whole art form to like it just sounding good, but sometimes it just like sounds okay, but you're sacrificing a lot of the meaning. So like that whole first song, like if I had listened to like the That's Whack and fixed it like a million years ago, I would never fixed it then. But then eventually you like put your ego to the side and you realize like people don't tell you that stuff just to say it. They usually have a bit of thing, and you can take that advice and you can leave it, or you can take bits of it. Sometimes your friends are just wrong, and that's fine
I was
too.
thinking about, who I was thinking about as far as our inner crew. We have a particular friend that does this a lot with us.
Yeah.
But I will say, like you were just saying, there was this one moment. So talk about the story. I had this one moment where, because I also make my own beats.
Yeah.
And years ago, I was making this particular beat. I was feeling pretty proud of it private. And I let a buddy of mine listen to it. And it had like some extra little like sound effects and bells and stuff in the background. And I thought the music was hard. I'm like, yeah, listen to my beat, man. And, bumping it. He said it sounded like something that he would hear in Walt Disney movies. That killed my spirit.
See, I take that as a compliment.
I'm like, yeah, man, what you think of this right here? He's like, man, this something like you probably would hear in Disney or something. Man, you don't know what that did to me, Thug Shells. I still need therapy over that.
What happened to that song? Did you lay some fire bars over it?
Or maybe I sold it to Disney. I can't remember.
Oh man, yeah. Sometimes, and that's the thing. Yeah, sometimes people just like say a thing and they don't even realize how much of an impact it is. Like when your buddy said that too, like you probably wasn't like thinking that like that would hurt, but sometimes people just talk to talk, and sometimes their opinion isn't always right, but at the same time sometimes it is. It's really hard to know. But at the end of the day, did you like the song?
Well, I was just gonna say, what's so funny, Thug Shells, is when I started listening to it, it did sound like something that would be in a Disney movie. Like I had to like start like going, wait, maybe this could be more, befitting for a jingle and not a hip hop track that I imagined it being.
Jingles
like
are catchy.
that's the resolve that I'm still traumatized though. I still have to work this out
know.
years later. But...
Yeah, you should write a Disney rap.
Okay, so we're running short on time, so we're going to jump into our little segment that we do at the end of every podcast.
Sounds good.
Basically, I'm going to ask a question, and you say the first thing that goes to your mind, starting with Scooby and ending with me.
Ooh.
Yeah, so we're kind of wrapping around like this.
Yeah.
All right, so first question. What is the worst movie cliche?
I feel like movie cliche. I really had to think about what a cliche was for a second on that.
Like things that happen often in movies.
Oh, like that kiss. You know what I'm saying? It's that long, drawn out, passionate one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it's like it's just not.
He's not a romantic apparently. So there you go.
It's okay. You'll meet the one day. You'll get that kiss. You'll be like, I changed my mind.
Well, what about you, Thug Shells? What's a thug?
The cliche is that the best, like the good guy doesn't win, like the best friend out of the friend zone thing. Like friggin' like the nice guys, like they get the girls too. Nice guys are nice.
Oh, what about you, Jen?
Oh, I think for me, I'm a big horror movie fan. So I hate when somebody's life is in danger and they don't really take things seriously. They have to check behind this instead of just getting out there.
Oh, I heard a scream upstairs.
Like who goes to check the basement?
What's the movie though?
Like they can't start the car when they get in.
Oh, yeah, why is the car always out of gas?
Even police cars.
They drive there. It's all, yeah, they drive there full of gas. They ride around. But as soon as the killer start killing, like what the? Okay, so mine is a horror movie thing too. I hate the whole tripping thing. You're running and
They always fall.
Trip.
Yeah.
I ain't never tripped running from no damn body, man. That's some bullshit. I actually got issues about that. I'm seeking therapy for it too, damn it.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's always like the bad guy monologue. Like they'll beat the hero up, and then they'll start monologuing and like
I have you now.
one of
For
my
5 minutes more.
right.
one of my favorite scenes, Incredibles, where like that happens and Syndrome he starts monologuing. He turns around, he's like, "You almost caught me there."
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So the next question: what would be the most boring superhero power?
Ooh.
Or like superhero in general? Like
The most boring superhero. I was Scooby as a guy.
I heard like toilet paper man. It's like you grab a toilet paper, you don't think he just come like that.
Man, that dude would be a god right now. Think about the toilet paper. He would be a god right now, man.
The most boring toilet. I mean, frig. Oh, these are hard. They put you on the spot. Okay. The most boring superhero. I don't know. He'd just always have a pen. He'd be like, I really need to write something down. He'd be like, sweet. But like that would actually be like kind of useful for me. So that one.
Oh gosh, I can't think. Oh guys, maybe someone that has to set your alarm or your watch or something. It's like my watch broke.
Be like, I got you. Alarm man. He just wakes you up.
To set your watch in a single bound. Right?
Thank you, alarm man.
Thank you, alarm man. But the irony is he's
That
never.
was stupid. I didn't.
But the irony is he's never.
It's
won
okay. The
battle.
pen one wasn't much better.
Set the alarm. I think for me it would be flatulence man. Flatulence man, because he just farts. It doesn't help anybody. He farts. You know what I'm saying? So
That will actually hurt.
he would disrupt shit. So flatulence man.
But then I don't know if that's a superhero. He might be a villain, actually.
Oh.
So.
He's a villain.
Because
Oh,
like
well,
I'd rather him not
we're
around.
all villains then, because we all fart. So we're all villains.
Yeah.
mine is, and it's kind of off your horror movie trope, is just tripping. I read a book where this guy had a power for tripping, which helped in certain situations. So like he would like sense danger and trip and fall and hide. Or like he'd be getting shot at, and all of a sudden he'd trip and dodge a bullet. That's just like.
You can shoot at the right time. Oh my God. Trip man.
But he always saves his life.
I mean, he makes a bullet can be coming and he trips right on time.
The bullet might hit the person behind him, but
Exactly, but he tripped right on time. That's actually a great power. He's got so uses after all.
That's the last question.
But what's his identity though? Like when he's not Trip Man, what is he throughout the
He has
day?
to have a teeth somewhere.
Like my guy, he works in a bean factory, obviously. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
That's his fuel.
Book that I read, his name is Sing. That's his name.
so he works at Sing Sing. Oh,
He's a
okay.
prison guard.
Yeah.
He's a prison guard. My day. Well, but I mean, tripping at the damn penitentiary. I mean, I don't know. You know what they say about tripping for the soul? And that damn button in the air. Oh, sorry, Doug Shells.
No, you're good. Yeah, we're golden.
Excuse my butt reference. If you find it sexy, you can put something in the comments.
Perfect.
That's it. That's my last question.
All right, well, that ends our episode, Doug Shells.
Awesome.
Aw,
Aw, you're super welcome.
What is this episode?
I think
Episode 23 with Bill, Shy, Scooby, and Mac. And thank you.
22.
We never get this right. It's 20-something. It's just 20-something. We know that.
Yeah.
But thank you for being on the show, Doug Shells, and we hope to have you back if we're not too crazy and wild for you.
Awesome. Yeah. Maybe one of these days for sure. It was super nice to meet you guys. Maybe I'll come visit one day when the world opens back up. I've never been to Mississippi, so.
Oh, yeah. Come on down. We got some
Yeah.
barbecue and catfish for you.
That sounds super great.
Well, how about doing the
Yeah,
socials and
social,
stuff?
you know what I'm saying? Scooby Kid 252 at Also Shy at Bill_Perry at ChefMac1523 at Bridge the Gap 77 and at Thug Shells everywhere.
Cheers.
It's been Bridging the Gap.
And keep us posted about that new album release.
Will do. I will. And goodbye. What was her name? Wait, Abigail?
Yeah, that's Abigail.
Abigail. She's a good girl. Yeah.
And look, she does sexy dances and stuff. You know, she'll dance to your music for the right price.
Perfect.
All right, thanks again, Thug Shares. We'll keep in touch, all right?
Hey, thank you so much for having me, guys.
Indeed. You take care now.
Okay, bye.
What's up? What's up? It's Chef Mac with my normal kind of in spiel that I'm gonna do all the time. Thank you for making it this far. Make sure you like, comment. This week, I think we're gonna get you to comment beach. You know, shells, beach. So beach. That's what I want you to comment this week. But thank you for making it this far. Thank you for watching. Make sure you guys go tweet me or the Bridging the Gap social media so that I can have more questions for rapid fire. Look forward to next week where we're starting a whole new end segment. These next 3 are going to be new end segments. So get ready for that. And we'll see how it goes and we'll see what we do. But I am excited to be back at my setup, sitting here, ready to make music videos, podcasts, and all sorts of stuff for you guys. So I'm going to end this and see you guys next week in episode 24, which I don't know what it's going to be yet, but 24.